Hey, how are you today? This is Josh Patrick, and you're at Cracking the Cash Flow Code. And my guest today is Mike Caldwell, who's a marketing medic, has a company called the Marketing Medic, and he is an expert at empathic marketing. And he has a thing, the 5 steps of empathic marketing. So we're going to have Mike come on and tell us what that means. Hey, Mike, how are you today?
Hey, Josh, I'm great. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So, what is empathic marketing?
Empathic marketing is just a form of marketing that puts the person first. I know you're all about the cash flow, but I think you can get better cash flow when you focus on your audience more so than the bottom line.
So, what does focusing on your audience mean?
Well, especially today in this digital age, especially with what's happening with AI and robots and bots and chat bots and all that other stuff, the human connection is being lost. Human skepticism is increasing, and so it's harder and harder to win the hearts and minds of your audience. And so, empathic marketing is designed to solve that problem.
And how does it do that?
Well, the first step is sorry, I'm losing an earbud here. The first step is really taking the time to understand your audience. And there's two sections that I look at there. First, I look at the experiential understanding you have of your audience, and then I look at the emotional understanding you have of your audience. Now, on the experiential side, I got this from Eugene Schwartz in Breakthrough Advertising. And there he talks about your audience's level of awareness. And so that's how aware are they of their problem? Because your message is going to want to meet them where they are on their journey. So if we look at the weight loss niche, there are a lot of really overweight people in the world right now who don't see being overweight as a problem, right? Like they've always been overweight, their parents are overweight, their friends are overweight. It's just the way life is. So they don't identify that as a problem. So if you went up to them and say, "Hey, I'll give you like 90% off my weight loss product," they have no interest in that whatsoever. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got the people who are super aware of their problem. They're like, "I want to do intermittent fasting." And I know that's going to be my solution, but I just don't know what provider or what solution in that niche I'm going to use. So that's their level of
So,
awareness.
what if they don't know they have, what if they know they have a problem and they have no idea how to solve it? Where do you
Okay,
go there?
so that's the second level up in the pyramid. So the bottom of the pyramid, they're unaware. The second level up is they're unaware, then they're problem aware. So these people know they have a problem, but they don't know what to do. And so at that point, that's when you sort of have to educate them. So let's say I'm an intermittent fasting advocate. So I need to educate them as to why intermittent fasting is the way to go. Even though I know they're probably looking at Weight Watchers, looking at Jenny Craig, they're looking at keto diets, right? They're looking at all this stuff. So when I speak to them, I have to acknowledge where they are in their journey and acknowledge that what they're thinking about my competitors in those other weight loss, aspects.
So, if I'm a blue collar business person,
Yep.
how would I use that pyramid?
So give me a blue collar
A,
example, like
cons-
more specific.
a contractor. I replace windows, let's say.
Okay. So there we're looking at, so right now I live in Canada and I have the same climate as you do, right? And so at the unaware level, like I am not aware of the new fluoride windows or fluorine windows or some sort of gas in between the panes that take the R level in my Windows, which is what, like if you know Windows, I'm probably like an R3 or an R4 or something like that, right? But with newer technology, newer seals, newer gas in between the panes, then we're going to be getting R8. What does that mean? Like I don't know, but if you could speak to me and educate me to the fact that by doubling my R value in my Windows, that's going to cut my heating bills in half. Now you've got my attention, because before today, I wasn't shopping for a window. Does that make sense?
So, the problem you're solving, which is always what my question is that I'm going to cut your uh, heat loss through your windows by 100%. And that
Right.
will save you X amount of dollars.
Exactly. But you have to, depending on where your audience is in that level of awareness journey, depends on how you frame that information. Because you just can't come at me right now. Like if I'm not looking for windows and I'm completely unaware that I have a problem with my windows, then you can't just start talking to me about doubling, improving the efficiency of them. You have to explain first what the problem is.
So you would start off. So level one is, or a lot of people would refer this to the top of the funnel,
Yeah,
is that is helping someone understand they have a problem in the first place.
exactly. And why
Okay.
should why should I do windows? Like maybe I need more insulation in my attic. Maybe that's a better way to go. Maybe I've got gaps in my doors. Maybe that's a better way to go. So, I don't know. I know I'm paying a lot for my heating bill right now, but I don't know why, and I don't know if Windows is the way to go right now.
So what you just gave me was, if I'm a window installer, I might want to start a new business where I do an energy audit as my front end.
That would be amazing. Because oh, geez, this phone never works. Sorry about that. Yes, an energy audit would be amazing because online, I'm more of a direct response online person, but lead magnets work in every niche and every style of marketing.
Well, it seems to me that, I mean, look, we don't know we have a problem, but we do know I'm spending too much for electricity
Right.
or too much for oil or natural gas or however you heat your house if you're in the northern part of North America. And even parts of southern, you actually have to heat your house sometimes. So, but that's not as big of a problem. Down there, the problem would be I'm leaking or I'm spending too much money on cooling, I would assume.
Yeah, and we can even start almost higher in that funnel of unawareness. In that, right now we know that prices across the board are increasing, so our spending dollars are much less than they used to be, right?
Right.
And so, how am I going to, like right now, I'm worried I can't buy the same quality of groceries that I used to buy because grocery prices are going up. But what if I save money in another area that would allow me to put my more money toward groceries or other niceties in life?
So that's the bottom of your 5-step pyramid.
Yes.
And what would be step two? Staying with our window example.
Step two, okay, so they are problem aware. So these folks know that, like, I have cedar framed windows in this house. That's how they're old. It's an old house, cedar framed window. So I know I have a problem. And so at this point, you'd have to start educating me on what the different examples of solutions are. And unfortunately, I'm not very well versed in in Windows, but like, should I go with a vinyl window? And we want to start looking at false limiting beliefs. This would be a huge place to start. Like, one of the reasons I'm not replacing my windows right now is because they're so ridiculously expensive. So how can you educate me to the fact that it doesn't have to be as expensive as I thought, right? So in Canada, we actually have an energy audit that you spoke about, where the government comes in, and now they will pay me $150 for every window that I upgrade. And so what I learned last fall when I started the process is that if I want to exactly replace every window I have in the house, like an average window will cost me around $800 to have it built for me. But there's a lot of off the shelf windows that are within an inch or two in any direction, smaller, that I can fit in there. And so as a window person, you could say, hey, you might think you have to pay $800 a window, but let me show you how you can get it for like 250, because that's the difference between off the shelf and custom made, right?
And it would also be useful to, I would assume at that level, to say, one of the things we help you do is make sure you get all the credits, the governmental credits that are available to you. Because at least in the Northeast in the United States and in Canada, the government does a fair amount about helping with energy efficiency, or your utility does, which is what the case is in Vermont.
Right. And that's honestly how I got started. As I saw Facebook ads from local window companies saying that they could get me like up to $15,000 to replace my windows. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And that's how I started down that rabbit hole, is because they were addressing me at the problem aware level, and with this government grant, lead magnet.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it seems to me that so there's probably a level three also, right?
Level three is solution aware. And so at the solution aware level, I'm like, okay, I want a vinyl clad uh, off the shelf windows.
Right.
Now who do I buy them from?
Yeah. Now, is solution aware, is that also if you want to do an installer or have the local handyman do it or a window specialist?
Yeah, so that would be packaged in, right? So I know I want an off the shelf vinyl clad window. Why should I go with your company versus company B? And so if
Okay.
you start adding in like the benefits of installation and guarantees and warranties and all this other stuff, that's going to lean me towards you as opposed to your competition.
So in step three, would you be using a pain avoidance strategy also? You want to use me because I've got great windows at a reasonable price, and you'll never have to worry about us leaving your house a mess or wind seeping through your windows during the winter.
In a marketing campaign, different audiences respond to pleasure and pain differently. And
Yep.
so I would test both of those
Okay.
with my messaging and see which one the and I would lean towards what you're saying because most of us will run away from pain a lot faster than we'll run towards pleasure, and especially when it comes to our pockets, right? So if you're telling me that I'm being ripped off by whatever by the energy companies and I can stop them from gouging me, then I'm probably going to go that route.
Yeah. So if I say to you, I can help you double your profits, that's what you want, without working 60 hours a week and being afraid you'll never retire, I'm sort of covering both ends of that spectrum.
Yeah, and that's one of like the templated headlines is like how you can do X in Y amount of time without Z, without the pain
Right.
points.
So you at that point you're essentially speaking to both sides. I want to get better profits, or I'm burned out and don't want to work 60 hours a week, or I'm afraid I'll never be able to retire.
Yep,
So then I'm working to the pain points also.
exactly. Yep.
Cool. Cool. So what's level two?
Okay, so the second one, that's your level of sophistication.
Yeah.
And so that's going back to what offers have they heard before. Okay. And so weight loss is just so easy because everybody's familiar with it. So if we go, and I don't know B2B as well, well, in Windows especially, but like with like what back in the day, if you wanted to lose weight, there's two ways to do it, right? You dieted or you exercised, or you did a combination of the two. Those are your only two options. Then imagine one day a pill comes along. It's like, hey, take this pill and lose weight. How quick would you be to jump on that pill? Because you've never heard of it before, right? It's like,
Right.
wow, I don't have to diet, I don't have to exercise to take the pill. Like the first person to market with that pill is going to win right away. But you know that's going to be short lived. You're going to get competitors pretty soon. And so now, so you can't just say, take my weight loss pill and lose weight. Now you have to say, take my weight loss pill and lose, 5 pounds in 14 days. But what's your competition going to do? They're going to say, well, lose with our pill, you can lose 7 pounds in 5 days. Like, whoa, that's a better pill because you lose more weight faster. And people just keep upping and upping the promises until it's unbelievable, right? And that brings us to the next stage of the level of sophistication where you have to introduce your big differentiator. So there's a little Asian berry called Garcinia Cambodian, and this will stop your fat cells from producing more fat. So our weight loss pill has Garcinia Cambodian, which has these special properties. It's like, whoa, well, there we go. I'm going to do that because I want this highly sought after Asian berry. So that makes it bigger. And of course, then what's going to happen? Your competitors are going to start using Garcinia too. And so you have to up the promises there. And it just keeps going up and up this level of sophistication until so that when the second level burns out, now I'm going to say, hey, you know what? My pill, it has Garcinia, but I've also added caffeine. So now what we've got is we've got a twofer, right? So right now your body can't produce fat, and with the caffeine, it accelerates your metabolism, so you burn it faster. So you're getting up even more and more, right? And that's what's going back to the weight loss space. There's nothing that can be said now, right? Because that market is so huge, so competitive. It's all been said before. And actually, I did a case study just a few months ago and I actually ended up buying the product because this fitness guy says, lose weight like a kangaroo. And I'm like, wait a minute, what does that even mean? But that's at that level of sophistication. That's what you need to say to capture somebody's attention in the weight loss space, something that's completely ridiculous. And then when I started looking at his marketing and I started seeing how he understood level of awareness and level of sophistication, I was like, I'm going to do a case study on this. And when I went through his funnel, I ended up buying it. It's a really good product.
So what you're saying is the marketing campaign that you run, whether it's, level 1 or level 5, really depends on the audience and where they are in the buyer's journey.
And that's empathic marketing. That's understanding your audience. So what I stated at the beginning is you have to have a understanding, an experiential understanding. That's their level of awareness and their level of
Yeah.
sophistication. So that's what they've been seeing. And then there's the emotional understanding. And with that, I break that down into the 4 Ds of transformation delivery. That's what I call it. And so in the short term, you're looking at their difficulties and their desires. And in the long term, you're looking at their dreads and their dreams.
Okay, so um, that's sort of around psychographics. Am I correct there?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
So by psychographics, we mean what are the motivations? What are people thinking? What do they say to themselves? Not who they are or where they live or how much money they make.
Right. Yeah. This is the core to what they're feeling. Like your business, you've heard the analogy of like people don't go to the hardware store to buy a drill, right? They bought the drill because they want the hole. And you can
Right.
keep and in that case, I say you need to act like a 5-year-old child and just keep asking why. Because you usually have to ask why 7 times before you can get to the root of like that psychographic need.
So once you get to the root, you sell to the root, I take it.
Exactly. Yes.
So that sounds like a fair amount of work. How hard is that to do?
So this it's not hard if you follow a process, if you know what you're doing and you do the work. But the thing
Yeah.
is if this is the foundation. So you've heard the Pareto rule, the 80-20% rule, right? And so like 80% of the results are going to come from 20% of the effort, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that effort that you need to put in is you really need to dive deep into understanding your audience. Because if you don't know where they are in their journey and you don't know what they're feeling, then none of your messaging is going to respond with them.
So, so empathic marketing is around finding what that 20% is.
Yeah, now I'm getting confused by my own analogy there with the with the Pareto rule, but yeah, 80% of what you need for your marketing campaign, 80% is understanding your audience. Because
Yeah.
once you've got that, like, it's we're all of us are so worried about hiring copywriters and getting, saying the words in the right way. But if you understand your audience and really can, push on those pain points, you don't need flowery language, right? You just need to resonate with them and let them know that you understand their pain and where they're coming from.
Well, how is the easiest way to go about finding what their pain points are?
What it's depending on how you want to do it. And you know what? It's funny because one of the things that it sounds like I'm anti artificial intelligence, anti chat GPT. But if you know how to ask the right questions to chat GPT right now, it's been giving me some amazing answers. Like I've now been able to get chat to write a diary article for my avatar. And this, like, once you read their diary article from that chat producer, you might shed a tear or two.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go more old school, and this isn't totally old school, but look at your competitors. Like, look at the books that are offered on your subject matter and go to Amazon and just read the comments and see like what people like about the book, what they don't like about the book. And then you can do the same thing in the different forums, especially on Facebook, because people have no filters there. They feel completely invincible and they'll just tell it like they see it. Right. And so you can glean a lot, especially from the ads. I love the ads that my competitors are running because I can see their skepticisms. So one of the things like I do, and this is like another part of empathic marketing, when you craft an offer, like I have a what I call a 30-minute funnel fix call right now, right? It's so you can hop on the line with me for 30 minutes and I guarantee I'll fix your funnel. But you're probably pretty skeptical about that. What do you think? Why do you think I'm offering that to you? What would your response be?
Because you want to sell me your marketing services.
I want to sell you my marketing services, right? So you know what I'm going to say? So this is what I've done with my guarantee is I say, listen, in that 30 minutes, if I don't fix your funnel, I'm not going to give you your money back. I'm going to give you twice your money back. I'm going to double what you paid for the call. And you know what? I'm even going to up it from there. If in that 30 minutes, I try to sell you on anything, if I try to sell you on my coaching services, my done for you services, if I try to sell you on my daughter's Girl Guide cookies, you know what? I owe you double what you paid. And so going into like the responses to my competitors that are offering something like that, that's where I learned that you're skeptical and you know it's just a marketing pitch. So I respond to that by creating this ridiculous offer that nobody else would do because they can't do it because they are there just to try to sell you on something. And I've guaranteed with my own money that I won't do that.
Oh, hey, Mike, unfortunately, we're out of time. So I know that you've just written a book and you've got a business, and I'm going to bet there are people listening who say, hey, this guy's kind of interesting. I think I want to talk to him. How do they do it? Or how do they find your book?
You can find the book. You just go to Amazon and look for Empathic Marketing, and I should pop up pretty quick. And if you want to find me and talk to me, even I like that offer. That just happened to be the segue. But yeah, I'll happily look at your funnel with the same guarantee. And right now, I'm only charging $47 for that 30-minute call. So that's www.themarketingmedic.ca because I'm in Canada /2x back. In that, I will give you 2 times your money back if I try to screw you over.
Or you can't solve the problem.
Or I can't solve the problem. But it's I haven't met a funnel I couldn't fix yet.
That sounds cool. I've got 2 things I want you to do. And one is please go to wherever you're listening to this podcast and give us an honest rating and review. That's really important. Spotify, Apple, Amazon. We're on all those wonderful, fun sites. So wherever you listen, go and please give us an honest rating and review. And the second thing is we have this thing called the Financial Freedom Accelerator. And what we do there is first, we find out where you are on the road to financial independence or financial freedom from your business, which is actually what most people want. And unfortunately, too many business owners we run into don't have a road to become financially free from their business. And that's where the accelerator gets fun, is that we help you develop a strategy that will work, that will get you to financial freedom from your business. So if you're interested, it's really easy to find out more about it. You just go to www.sustainablebusiness.co/freedom. That's www.sustainablebusiness.co, that's .co, not .com, /freedom. And you'll get a chance to learn more about the Financial Freedom Accelerator. And if you're interested, you can then have a conversation with me and see if it works for you. Hey, this is Josh Patrick. We're with Mike Caldwell. You're at Cracking the Cashflow Code. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you back here really soon.